yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house.
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them. He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? And let's go to the house. And let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
No, it ain't over. It's just getting started right here on this holiday edition of Throwback Thursday. I decided to jump on. Chris Gardner taking a little bit of a break for the holiday. I decided to jump on, see what y'all are doing, and do some throwback. There was so much good stuff happening this past weekend in the world of sports that I had to get on and check it out. So, yeah, man, I hope y'all are getting ready for a good holiday. If you are in one of these freeze areas, you know, there's a big weather event that's going through the nation. So if you're in one of those freeze areas that don't normally freeze, like Houston and some of the areas down here in the South, please take care of your business, man. Get your pipes wrapped up, you know, cover up the faucet, the spigot for your outside, deal. Pull your water hoses in, make sure there's no water in there. You know, cover up your plants that are sensitive to cold weather, and bring your pets in. Please bring your pets in. I don't care if you got an outside dog or not. They don't need to be outside in 10-degree weather, 20-degree weather. Well, AJ, don't tell me how to handle my dog. Okay, all right, put them people in your life. They're going to tell you how to handle your dog. So, yeah, I'm sitting up here at my studio, which just happens to be in our church building. I ain't seen none of the pipes wrapped up, but they've turned the water off. So I guess that's a good thing. But anyway, man, good Lord. All right, let's see what y'all talking about today. Donna Coleman-Holman, what's up, sis? Sis, I started to wear my shirt anyway today. I might wear it tomorrow anyway, because I'm going to get me a marker and I'm going to put a D on the end of that first word, and it still might work. So I appreciate you. I love you so much. I thank you for your service. I thank you for staying my friend, because, you know, you could have stopped friending me for a while back, but I appreciate you for staying my friend. And hey, I love you. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Happy holiday to you and your family as well. All right, so got a lot I want to cover today. So y'all know I was down at the Celebration Bowl this past weekend, and it was a great game. The best Celebration Bowl I've ever seen. And I ain't going to sit here and act like I've been covering HBCUs all my life. I have not. Now, I've been connected with them all my life, but I haven't covered them all my life. So, you know, it's a lot going on. A lot of folks feel like the HBCU community needs to handle their own situations last night. I'm gonna let them handle it if they need me. I'm an ally. I'm a legit ally. My baby girl is over at Southern, and my money is going to an HBCU. So don't kick me out. You know, y'all help me out. All right. So anyway, I want to talk about that game. I want to talk about the post-game comments. Now, I'm going to warn you, I got a lot of clips from Coach Deion Sanders. I got a lot of clips from him, not because it was all about him for me. Just wanted to capture some of his comments and share with you. But I got a couple of clips from the winning head coach of the Celebration Bowl, the Black College National Championship, North Carolina Central's head coach, Trey Oliver. I got him, and I got a real great clip from the winning quarterback, Davius Richard. I got a real good clip from him, and I want to play that as well. And then I want to get into some of the clips from post-game for the Houston Texans. I thought Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes made some real poignant comments about the Houston Texans. I'm going to play those, but then I'm also going to talk about reality. And reality came to light yesterday, when the NFL announced its Pro Bowl selections. And it's just real talk. It's just real talk. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to get into I reached out to Willie Gibson last minute. I have really nothing planned today other than, throwing back to this past weekend. But also we're going to talk about the Lunch Break Weekly, keeping up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. Some folks got confused on what happened over this past week. It was a, 5-way tie, 4-way tie, something like that. But only one person won, and that was Emmanuel. And I have not yet sent Emmanuel his $50. I'll get that out to him. My sponsors, I think they're on holiday because they ain't responded back to me. I need the 50 so I can send it. But I'm going to get that up to him. But there's only one winner each week. That's why we do the tiebreaker. And if you are closest to the final score, that's how you win. So out of all the people that had 13 wins, only one won the $50. Now, everybody else is bunched up in the runnings. And I will give the standings again. And then I will give my power rankings for the NFL. I didn't give those yesterday. I'll give my NFL power rankings, and we'll call it a show. So let me go ahead and take my first break early so I can get into it and get back. Donald Coleman home, and KD misses Steph Curry. I don't know. The way they beat up on Golden State last night, I don't think nobody missed nobody from Golden State. Yeah, is this bad? I like seeing Golden State get beat up on. I do. Not as a broadcast journalist, not as a sports guy, but just as a regular old common fan sitting on my sofa. I love seeing Golden State get beat up on. Because, when they win, they pointing and laughing and, they doing all of that. But when they lose, when they get the snot beat out of them, when they get dog walked, they like this. Donna, when Golden State gets dog walked, they like this. On the bench. No, really, they like this. Hold on, Donna. When they get dog walked, that's how they are. I know that's wrong. Y'all pray for me. Y'all pray. I need prayer. And supplication. Both of them. Buy one, get the other one free. It's holidays. All right, let me take a break. I'll be right back right after this on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV.
There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Doc, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
I'm the Golden State Warriors on the bench last night. Throwback Thursday. I'm the Golden State Warriors on the bench last. I'm the Golden State Warriors on the bench last night. Who did what last night? Let me go to my stats real quick. I ain't even checked the stats after seeing the score. I ain't even fooled with the stats last night. Let me check them real quick. See what happened. Let's see. Nets, Warriors, box scores. Draymond Green had 2 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. Kevon Looney had 6 points, 7 rebounds, and 1 assist. Jordan Poole had 13 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. The only dude that came to play for Golden State was off the bench. James Wiseman had 30, 6 rebounds and 2 assists. And everybody else on the bench was. I love it when they get dog walk. I do. I'm sorry. I shouldn't, but I do. Y'all pray for me, and everything will be all right. So anyway, the Celebration Bowl this past Saturday in Atlanta, the Black College National Championship between the North Carolina Central Eagles versus the Jackson State Tigers. Jackson State was favored to win the game. They came in undefeated. Of course, all the news was on Coach Prime on his way to Colorado, which players were going to go with him and all of that. But, baby, that's why they play the games. I told Coach Johnny Cole from the HBCU Stroll that, he said, man, all the attention is on Jackson State. Ain't nobody talking about North Carolina Central. He's like, we don't know their coach name. We don't know no player's name. We don't know nothing, which we did because, we follow HBCU football and baseball and all that. But he's like, ain't nobody talking about that. I said, you're right. Now, I said these exact words verbatim. I said, watch them win. He said, Jones. He called me coach. Coach. I said, man, watch them win. I said, it goes down like that. I said, it was like that last year with South Carolina State. Nobody gave South Carolina State a chance but South Carolina State. And what happened? North Carolina Central came out balling. They came out balling from the word go. When that referee blew that whistle for the opening kickoff, North Carolina Central was balling. And it was back and forth until we got to the end of the game. North Carolina Central was up. Jackson State needed a touchdown on 4th and 10 because it was going to be the last play of the game. And they got it. Overtime. And in overtime, North Carolina Central did what they had to do first. Touchdown, extra point. I tweeted out, if Jackson State does not score a touchdown and the extra point, they lose. And sure enough, they tried to throw the ball to a wide open tight end, and he dropped it. Wide open in the end zone, and he dropped it. But they still had one more play. And they ran it, and it didn't work. Ball game, 41-34 in overtime. North Carolina Central got the win. Now, post game. Here's what Coach Deion Sanders had to say about the game. Hold on. Pause for the cause. I got a special guest that jumped in. There you go right there. Here I am.
Cut it out. Give me my theme music.
Hit my theme music. What's up, Willie G?
What up, though?
Willie G from the Folks Talking Sports and Will Knows podcast and a host of others. A real broadcast journalist from the Ohio State, covers the Cleveland Browns, covers the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think he rocks with the Guardians every now and then.
A little bit.
Covers that Big Ten and a whole bunch of stuff. Boy, what don't you do?
Man, I don't know yet.
Yeah. What's up, bro?
What up, bro? What
Merry
do you do?
Christmas.
What's that?
I said Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, happy
Merry Christmas to you and the peeps. Absolutely.
Yeah. Happy Kwanzaa and all that.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, man, I was just running down a little bit of that Celebration Bowl. That's why they play the games, Doc. That's why they play the games, man. Mm-hmm. Go back, Willie, because you are a sports aficionado, bro. You know that stuff. What are some of the biggest upsets that you remember in your time covering sports?
Yesterday, Eastern Illinois beat Iowa at home by a lot. Yeah, it was like 83-62, something. They beat them bad.
Yeah.
They beat them bad. So
Remember when Chaminade beat Ralph Sampson's team?
Yep.
That was a big one.
That one, Georgetown, Villanova. 85.
Yeah. Now I was just gonna say, don't say Houston, North Carolina State. Don't say that one.
No.
Don't say you in the wrong place for that.
I wasn't gonna say that. What? I don't know if it was an upset, but they were up with the recency bias. Brought it up last week with Minnesota coming back in Indianapolis. The playoff game, Buffalo and Houston. Houston was up. Oh, I'm in Houston. My bad. I shouldn't have brought that up either. I was not being funny. I forgot it. I straight up.
No, let me tell you what's going on down here, though. Folks are rocking with the fact that the Colts blew a bigger lead than the Oilers did against Buffalo. Yeah. So folks are rocking with that. But I had to remind one of my homeboys, I was like, yo, but that was a playoff game. That was just like a regular Sunday. Like that was just a third Sunday in June, in June. Like, bro, that one don't count.
Yep.
It don't count as much.
Right. Exactly. Winning, you go home. Winning, you go home. Lose, you go home. That's what that one was.
What about that New York Giants won? Because they did it to them twice. Mm-hmm. But that first one, when New England was 18-0, they were supposed to just wipe the. In fact, the Giants entered that game as a number 6 seed, did they not? They were a wild card.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
they were. And then you just brought up, you were speaking on Golden State earlier. I mean, they had Cleveland up 3-1 in 2016. They had them up 3-1 and let Brown come back and win 3 straight.
On everything I love, I promise you, somewhere in a tunnel we will never know about, LeBron chest bumped Kyrie and said, can't nobody over there guard you, kid. Yep. Can't nobody over there check you, man. Yep. And Kyrie like, yeah, you're right. Because he took over.
Another story to that point, after game 5, they won in Oakland. Ty Lue took $100 from everybody in the locker room that night and put Ms. Holman, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you. After game 5 that night in Oakland, he took $100 from everybody in the room, put it in a bag, and put it in the ceiling under one of the tiles and said, we coming back on Sunday to get our money.
I love that. I love that. I'm a big time wrestling fan. That's like hanging that suitcase up from the rafters, Money in the Bank, and make you go up there and get it, Doc. We got to come back and we got to get our money.
Yep.
I love it. Yep. I love it. All right, so let me think. What else? What else were there? Give me something else. So now this wasn't an upset, but the comeback, and again, it's Houston related. The comeback was unbelievable. That game with Joe Montana at Notre Dame and the University of Houston Cougars, Danny Davis, who's now a pastor, was a quarterback for U of H. And all I remember is every time he scored, he would do this thing like that. And Joe Montana said, give me my soup.
Yeah.
At halftime, and brought them boys all the way back.
Yeah, that was a good one. Man, what's another upset?
Now, this one, I don't know. You were probably too young for this. In honor of his passing, what do you remember about the Immaculate Reception? What do you remember about
Yeah. Oh, man. It was 3 years before I was born.
Okay.
Completely transparent. I still am looking forward. I was looking forward to this weekend because I'm an interest of full disclosure. I'm a Cowboy fan, but to hear, you've always heard the story, and did he really catch it? The camera angle? Did he see it? Did he not? And I was looking forward to the weekend, to the whole celebration. It was, kudos to the NFL to recognize the historic relevance and to put the Raiders in. It's not Three Rivers. It's the stadium it is now.
Yeah.
On Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Foresight, by that marketing arm to do that. But I'm interested to see, unfortunately, with Mr. Harris passing, but still celebrating his life on Saturday is of great interest. And with me covering the Browns, I go to Pittsburgh every year, and there's a spot. Three Rivers is gone.
Right.
There's a memorial, there's a monument on the exact spot where he caught the pass. And I have a picture somewhere in my phone, but it's pretty slick. Pretty slick.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember and fond, not beat up. I what that kid has gone through, and you can kind of relate with that with what the young man went through at Ohio State a couple of seasons ago in the postseason. The young man from Jackson State that dropped the pass in the end zone, Jackie Smith for the Dallas Cowboys. When he was wide open in the end zone and he dropped the pass. He dropped it like 4 times, Doc, because he was on his back, fumbling and bumbling and stumbling with it. And when that thing hit the ground, man, I think I broke a TV. I really do think because I was a diehard Cowboys fan back then, pre that knucklehead that owns them now. But yeah, man, I just and I'm like, Jackie, and they brought him out of retirement to be in that game, and he dropped that pass.
Oh, to that point, speaking of Bill Buckner in '86, the Red Sox and the Mets. I mean, the grizzled old vet, he wanted to be on the field. They thought it'd be great to have him on the field when they finally win it. And he's not the reason they didn't, because there was still Game 7 available. But, yeah.
Yeah, there have definitely been some memorable games where you just didn't expect to see what you saw. Again, as a Cowboy fan, I'll never forget Lynn Swann and his big catch where he's falling down, the ball bounces up in the air, and some kind of way he still catches it for the first down and killed the Cowboys' chance to win that Super Bowl. So, man, there have been some amazing games in our history. So, brother, I appreciate you sharing some of the memories with me.
I'm coming in on another platform. So if you see me, because my iPad is like at 8%, so you can see me come in on another. Yeah.
There you go. All right, I'm gonna drop you off of this one and kick you in with that one.
I'll just hold it. How about that?
Sound good. That one sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, man, and man, folks don't even understand the history of heartbreak that rocked the Cleveland Browns, man. I mean, John Elway, are you even allowed to say John Elway's name in the Cleveland area still?
After 37 years, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, folks just don't know, man. The drive happened against Cleveland. That fumble.
The fumble. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, where is he now? Where is that running back now?
Ernest Biner? Yeah.
It was Biner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ernest around.
Okay. Is he getting love though?
Yeah. They actually brought him back in 2016 for the Cavs victory parade. He had a float, and people gave him mad love. So yeah. Ernest is great. And speaking of Kevin Mack is the director of alumni relations for the Browns. So I see, Kevin's doing very, very well. Very
Outstanding. Do the Cleveland Browns finally have the quarterback that they have been so desperately looking for since God knows when?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Y'all felt good about the win this past weekend.
Not so much the win. In 3 weeks, he's definitely shown himself as the leader of this team. He came in. I'll say this. It's been seen the last 3 weeks. He's been leading from, I believe, March 3rd, whenever the trade was made.
Yeah.
But people are now beginning to see the leadership traits. Week 1, for obvious reasons, was a bit choppy for him.
Yeah.
And you and I were there. We discussed it. But since then, I mean, he's been, without question, the unadulterated leader of this team.
I'm really interested to see what they look like with a full season with him, with all the way through training camp, all the way through, practice and preseason and all that, and starting game 1, week 1. I mean, I got to put Cleveland up there with one of the teams to beat.
And you may see it early. I know I was able to get a quick peek at the 23 schedule. The Browns will be back in Houston in 23. So be interesting as well to see how. Yeah, see how Deshaun fares. I'm sure he'll fare much better than he did in this season. But yeah, the Browns will be back in NRG in 2023.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So, what do you think is going to happen with Georgia and the Ohio State? I said this at the Celebration Bowl down my row. I said, watch the Ohio State win the national championship. I said they're going to upset Georgia. Michigan is going to beat TCU, and Ohio State's going to handle that business against Michigan. Ain't going to beat them 3 times in a row.
From your mouth to God's ears. Let's do it. Let's get it. I concur. I believe that. Although I will say that Houston or Michigan is doing a little bit too much chest puffing, chest tapping, letting them know to be corny about it. It's like act like he's been there before. When Ohio State when Ohio State won 18 of 20, it was just next man up.
Yeah. But
you've won 2, and that's great. But focus on TCU. Because Max Duggan is not to be played with. And that offense is not to be played with. So
yeah. I mean, they got caught by a intra-conference rival that, quite frankly, was balling. So TCU has found a way to get it done almost all year long, and Michigan might mess around and be peeking ahead because they kind of in themselves right now.
Yeah, I hope they don't. I mean, I would love to see them in LA on January 9. I would absolutely love it. But I'm concerned because they are looking to be on the banquet circuit, if you will.
Yeah.
Not focused.
How do you feel about having 2 Big Ten teams in the postseason college football playoffs when it's normally 2 SEC teams?
Exactly. I feel great because of just that. I believe, and so I had someone tell me, I want TCU to blow the doors off of Michigan. I'm like, no, you don't, because the Big Ten Conference takes a beating nationally.
Right.
Ohio State takes a beating nationally because the word on the street, so to speak, is the Big Ten is weak. It's a weak conference. They don't have any players. So you want Michigan and Ohio State to play on January 9 and so far, so the nation can see the Big Ten is not the weak conference that it's perceived to be.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. Willie, I ain't gonna keep you. I really want to get your thoughts on Coach Sanders in the Pac-12. What do you think that's going to look like?
I'll say this: I think he's bowl eligible year 1. I looked at the schedule. Even this was before yesterday. This was before signing day. When he got the job, I looked at the schedule. I believe there's 6 wins on that schedule. You only need 6 to get into a bowl. So is he going to the Rose Bowl next year? Probably not. However, I do think he's bringing a culture to that program. And once he fully gets that ingrained into the players he needs to bring in, the players that will stay, I think the Pac-12 better watch out. Chip Kelly, okay. Lincoln Riley, okay. What is it? I'm coming. And we know how to find.
Both of them lost, very good quarterbacks. And I get recruiting and all that, but both of them lost playmaking quarterbacks. So Kelly is susceptible. Lincoln's susceptible. We'll see. They don't understand how Prime does what he does. I don't think the people that are with him understand how he does what he does. So we'll see.
Yeah, without question. I think Kelly Williams is back for USC. He was only a sophomore.
Okay, I thought he was coming out because I was telling the Texans, there's like 2 faithful, me and one other guy, for the whole nation. I was telling them, we don't want the kid out of Alabama. We want either Caleb Williams or we want or CJ Stroud. Those 2 are NFL ready.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, let me do something before you go. After the game this past Sunday with the Texans, Andy Reid said the following, and I want to get your thoughts on what Andy Reid had to say about Lovie Smith following the Texans' overtime loss to Kansas City.
That overtime. Listen, it was a weird game. My hat goes off to Lovey for the great job in which he's done here. I mean, you've seen it the last 2 weeks. It's a hard job, and it takes time as a head coach. And Lovey, my word of advice is just give him time. He's a tremendous football coach. I've had a chance to compete against him for a number of years, and just rock solid football team.
What do you think about those comments? Do you think that's just, the head coaching fraternity speaking, or is that legit and a legit assessment of a guy who prepared for Lovie Smith's team and actually got what he prepared for?
I apologize, AJ. I did not hear his comments.
Okay. So basically, he said, my assessment is Lovie just needs time.
Yeah.
Very well coached team, very well prepared. Lovie just needs time.
Sure. I think there's truth to that. I do believe, yes, as one of 32, there is a coaching fraternity. But I won't say that. Anyone can see that this team is not ready to win now, and to blame or lay the onus of this at the feet of Lovie Smith. Bill Parcells has a famous quote: "If you want me to cook the dinner, you gotta let me shop for the groceries."
Yeah.
And I don't know that Lovie was it HEB? Is it
Right.
HEB?
Yeah.
Or Kroger or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing the best he can with what he has. And
Yeah.
I think I agree to that point. To tie it in the ball, I believe I agree with Coach Reed's assessment.
One of the local guys said that this team has 9 losses by 7 points or less.
Mm-hmm.
Now that kept Scott Frost with a job in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
But they still calling for Lovie to get fired Lovie and Pep to get fired in Houston.
Who are they? It's the proverbial they. That's the thing. I'm always, you can't come to me and say, well, they said, well, who are they?
Yeah.
As journalists, we know how we feel about unnamed sources. So, as Coach Herm Edwards says, put your name on it.
That's true. That's me right there. Roger Goodell sent out a memo to the 32 clubs and said, we got a lot of money being paid to folks who are no longer coaching.
Mm-hmm.
We got over $800 million is being paid to people who are no longer coaching in the league. And he can't tell them what to do, but he talked to them about how it looked to have 1 year and done coaches. I mean, they even referenced the New York Giants and how many changes they have made recently. I wonder if that's going to buy Lovie at least one more season.
I hope so. I would think so. I don't know if that necessarily will. I mean, because I'm not in Cal McNair's pocket, but I don't know if that's a strong enough deterrent. But I think everything else would be strong enough to bring. I don't even think it's a year-to-year scenario. I mean, how many 3, 4, 5 year rebuilding plans do we see?
Yeah.
So I don't know why we would look at it as a year-to-year scenario with Lovie.
Yeah, I got you. Willie Gibson, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you, my brother.
You about to find me trying to get through this winter snap we about to come through, but shortly. But no, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Will Gibson7, Facebook at Will Knows, and Folks Talking Sports. I believe it's tonight. Because due to the holiday.
8 Eastern?
8 Eastern, yeah. I don't know about that Central stuff, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. 8 Eastern. No, not 8 Eastern. 7 Eastern. 7 Eastern. 7 Eastern. That's what I know. I know 7 Eastern.
I'm going to check y'all out tonight, man. Well, I appreciate you jumping on, man.
Yes,
and happy holiday to you and the family, brother. Give my niece whatever she wants. Get my great grandnephew whatever he wants. And,
it's a wrap. They already got it. They got it.
I don't know, bro. I'm finna shake your pockets. Make sure you clean them out for these young people.
Come on, man. Stay out my pocket, man. You know, get out my pockets, man.
Willie Gibson, I love you, brother. I'll talk to you again soon. All right,
Love
man.
you too. Merry Christmas to you and the lunch breakers. Peace.
All right, brother. Merry Christmas, man. I love that dude right there, and I mean it for real. I'll fight you over Willie Gibson. Appreciate him jumping on real quick. All right, let me hit bottom of the hour, and when I come back, I'm gonna run through these videos that I wanted to run through today. All right, we'll be right back with the lunch break, powered by JM&E, right here on
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on ROKU TV, courtesy of BS3 TV, changing the way you watch television. All right, I already played the clip from Andy Reid. Let me go back to talking about the Celebration Bowl. Here's what Coach Prime had to say after the game as soon as he walked in the press area. Here was his first comments after losing the Celebration Bowl.
Well, Coach, I think during every trick play they did, it worked. It was a wonderful timing of it. Our defense didn't show up today by any means. Offensively, we got it done, and I'm still replaying that last play in overtime. Not the last play, the second to the last play that we didn't come up with. It just don't seem like that was real. It's kind of surreal. But overall, it was a great game. Great for the viewers, great for our HBCU, just great overall game. Hats off to that coaching staff, the head coach, all those players, the fan base, the cheerleaders who I got an opportunity to meet yesterday when I was getting a haircut. Hats off to them. So I'm very unfortunate. Much love to all the JSU fans, but came up short once again. Don't know what to say, but I'm going to find it today.
I mean, he gave love to North Carolina Central, gave a lot of love to North Carolina Central, as he should, because North Carolina Central didn't blink. They did not blink. And again, hats off to the North Carolina Central Eagles for being the Celebration Bowl champs for 2022. Here's what Coach Sanders had to say after the game about other HBCU coaches.
The coaches, and I don't know if that's the coach's dream in HBCU just to remain. I say that because there's some wonderful, very talented coaches that can coach their butts off, not just advance to a higher level of college football, but some of these guys should get an opportunity to coach in the NFL. I know Willie Simmons personally, and he is unbelievable as a head coach, as a coordinator. He whatever he chooses to do. And I hired Coach Dancy on my staff because of how good of a coach he is in a desolate place that he probably would have never won. But this man can coach his butts off. Coach McNair at Alcorn. I could go on and on and on, and they don't get credit. They really don't. And anytime I can shine light on them, I'm not just doing it just to shine light, because these guys are really good, and they should be noticed.
Yeah, I like that. I like that when there's respect for the other coaches in the league, and he's showing respect by taking a few of them with him to Colorado. So Again, much respect for Coach Sanders there. And here's what Coach Sanders had to say about a couple of post-game moments with the players and with somebody who means a whole lot to him. Check this out.
Brazil, and both of you are very emotional. Talk about those two situations after the game.
I wanted to have a last opportunity to speak to my team as a unit. So that's why I was trying to get them in and comfort them as well. Because a lot of those young men were emotional because we didn't fathom a loss. We don't think like that. With Robert Brazil, that's like big brother. That's like uncle. And I feel like I let him down. Like that's my man. Like I call a few people before accepting the job to let him know what I was contemplating. And he was one of the ones because I wanted his blessing. And I wanted to understand the lay of the land because I didn't really know a lot about the HBCUs. And he's been there every step of the way. He's done things that you don't even understand. But he's been there for me to give me guidance and comfort and love and wisdom. And I sincerely love him. And I feel as though I let him down. And that's going to be with me for the rest of my life. I love him that much.
Yeah, that's pretty strong. Robert Brazil, man, that brother is HBCU. Played for, of course, the Houston Oilers and has been a mentor, friend, big brother to Coach Prime for a long, long time. And that's somebody that he had a moment with after the game, clearly emotional as they embraced. And now we understand why, because he felt like he let him down. You know, he that's who he consulted with and gave him the green light for taking the Jackson State job. That's who he went to when he didn't know who to talk to while at Jackson State. And that's who was there for him on his last game as a member of Jackson State. I love brothers like that. Willie Gibson would be like somebody like that for me. Dr. David Fuller would definitely be like somebody like that with me, for me. Chris Gardner, Houston Round Ball Review, would definitely be like that for me. Kim Davis, Chalk Talk Sports, would be like that for me. So again, Coach Prime with his post-game emotional moments following that game. Last thing I want to play with Coach Prime would be his coaching for money. A lot of folks say that he's taking the job in Colorado for the money. Here's what he had to say when asked about that.
Resolutions. I coach for love and passion. It's not a job to me. You know, I read the stuff every now and then. I don't read everything because I ain't got that kind of time. But to even fathom the fact that I would do something for money and God has been good to me financially, that blows my mind. Because you didn't say that when I was in the hospital for a month and I came on the sideline in a wheelchair. Did I do that for money? When I'm reaching in my pocket and paying for stuff, did I do that for money? When I'm loving on these kids and doing stuff that you would even fathom that a coach would do. Did I do that for money? Money don't move me. I move money.
You heard that. Said money don't move him. I move money. A lot of folks don't get that Colorado job was as much about him as it was about his assistant coaches. Something he said that was not on this clip, but was from a previous interview. He said, man, here's some guys whose lives got changed. They now become millionaires because they're going with me to Colorado. That's strong because let me tell you something. I'm one who I think about how what I do affects the people that work with me. And when I can get a project that's going to pay somebody else who has been with me when I didn't have nothing to pay anybody else, that means something to me. That means something to me. When we had the chance to bid on a very large deal, just the thought of being able to pay somebody the kind of money that many of them never saw doing the stuff that we're passionate about, that meant something to me. I was praying that we got that deal so that I could say, here, Doc, thank you, man. Or here, Doc, thanks, sis. So, you know, again, I get the emotion behind it. I said I wasn't going to talk about it because I'm not HBCU. I'm not SWAC, even though I pay money to a SWAC school. I can see it from multiple different perspectives. All right. Now, let's talk about the winning head coach of the Celebration Bowl, Coach Trey Oliver from the North Carolina Central University Eagles, the Celebration Bowl champs. He talked about the disrespect his team experienced heading into that game.
We were sitting in the tunnel 10 minutes before we come out. You know, everybody in America has a script that we go by. All right, we play on national television. It's the first time I've seen the script change. So I didn't have to say anything to him about it. You know, we control what we can control, bottom line. And nothing's given to you. If you want something, you got to go take it. And, you know, we deal with adversity all the time, and that's such as life. So we're not going to sit here and complain about this, complain about that. You want something to change, do something about it. Bottom line.
Yeah, I didn't gather that they needed much motivation. The fact that they were barely mentioned, like they were a footnote in this game, and they had to experience stuff that they never experienced. Like folks were all talking about Coach Prime's ritual of walking around the field, even walking through the other teams, warm up and drills and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff is not normal. A lot of that stuff to the other teams feels disrespectful. Whether you think it's disrespectful or not really doesn't matter. A lot of that stuff is not normal and it feels disrespectful. And some teams get motivated by the disrespect, whereas other teams might get mad about it and can't do anything about it. He said, if you're going to do something about it, let's go in there and take it. And they did. Coach Trey Oliver's also talked about his team's game plan. Here's what he had to say.
Plan was unbelievable. I thought Coach Matt Leone, my offensive coordinator, did a great job. For us to rush for 276 yards on them people right there, that's what I'm talking about. So, and it starts up front with the offensive line. And, but I'm very pleased it wasn't more so about Jackson. It was about North Carolina Central.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That question was, that answer was in reference to a question that I was able to ask. When I travel like that, I am traveling as the producer and the technical person for Johnny Cole's HBCU Stroll. And that's what I said in the press box. Hi, my name is AJ Jones with Johnny Cole's HBCU Stroll. Coach, what did it mean when it was all about Jackson State, when it was all about, how did you prepare when all the focus was on Jackson State? And that was his answer. Let me play that one more time.
Was unbelievable. I thought Coach Matt Leone, my offensive coordinator, did a great job. For us to rush for 276 yards on them people right there, that's what I'm talking about. So, and it starts up front with the offensive line. And, but I'm very pleased it wasn't more so about Jackson. It was about North Carolina Central.
Coaching. They might have been focused on Jackson State, but we were focused on running that ball, and they ran it for 276 against 87 from Jackson State. And out of that 87, several of those yards came off long scrambles by Shedeur Sanders, who is now a member of the Colorado Buffaloes. So to kind of finish that point, the MVP of the Celebration Bowl was the quarterback for North Carolina Central, Davius Richard. And here's what I say Richard, but Davius Richard, here's what he had to say about his squad after the game.
Their boys played their heart out. Someone could barely walk through the game. So they did a good job of doing that, opening up the run game, and then that led to the passing game. Our receivers did a good job tracking the ball, catching the ball that came their way, making their plays. And then the running backs, the boys ran with an edge on their shoulder today, but I ain't even surprised they do that every week. They probably got first time seeing that, but I see it throughout practice and throughout each game. We got two best season boys. That's all for real. The boys just did their job.
I love that, man. That humility right there will travel. Awesome young man. Played his behind off against Jackson State, coming in as an undefeated team, powerhouse in the SWAC champs. And all he did was kept his cool and lead his team to a 41-34 overtime victory over previously undefeated Jackson State, and North Carolina Central claimed the Celebration Bowl championship. Hats off to you fellas. Hats off to that entire school administration. The MEAC has now won how many? How many Celebration Bowls have they won? The last one was Grambling. So again, I gotta take my hat off to him. All right, let me take a quick break. And then I'll come back and wrap it up right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV.
This is a BS3 network presentation. Politics.
They'll write the law, but they'll enforce it differently. Is that going to apply both ways?
Religion.
God never said that we can't reason together. Matter of fact, he said, let us sit and reason together.
Relationship.
I believe that everybody wants and needs somebody.
From a man's perspective.
They say, girls, if I put some polish on that and get him to buy some different clothes, girl, he could be a winner chicken dinner.
Join the thought engineer.
There's nothing wrong with me developing my piece and you developing your piece, but understand the goal is to come together.
And comedian John Yogi.
Negro, I don't need you putting on no chapstick up there in the pulpit. You do that over there in your chair.
Get ready for
Man Talk Monday. Woo!
Live every Monday at 7 p.m. Central.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. All right, it's Throwback Thursday, throwing back to the Celebration Bowl, throwing back to the Texans' tough overtime loss to Kansas City. I played one of the clips with Willie Gibson before he got off. Here's another clip of Andy Reid talking about Lovie Smith and the Houston Texans.
The defense is tremendous. I mean, he's running it, I presume. It looks that way, and they do just some good stuff on that. Offensively, they're creative. They're banged up a little bit. See, the injuries kind of can get you there, but I look at the scheme of the offense and defense and how they do on special teams, and they're right there. They're right there to get over that hump. And this type of game helps them. The Cowboys game helps them, and they'll get over the hump and be right there for you next year.
How did you feel like?
Yeah, I gotta agree. When I look at this team having lost 9 games from 7 points or fewer, and the way that they played over the last couple of weeks, you can see improvement. It's not reflecting on the win and loss record, but you can see improvement. Here's what Patrick Mahomes had to say about the Texans post game.
Yeah, I mean their front seven is good, really good. I mean they got guys that can play, and we knew that coming in, and you can see it on the tape, especially when you watch the Cowboys the week before. But they did some blitzes that they blitzed Brady a little bit more than I was expecting. But we finally got a handle on it a little bit in that second half, and we were able to move the ball. But they got through in a few blitzes that we weren't really we had scouted, but we didn't expect early in the game. And so they did a good job. Like I said, they're well coached, and their record hasn't been great, but they have a lot of good players on that team.
Last 3. Right?
All right, so that's where I want to close out. So Patrick Mahomes talked about they ran some stuff we didn't expect and what have you. We got local people who swear, Lovie only runs to Tampa 2. Wouldn't know a Tampa 2 if they saw it in a dream. But anyway, he said that they got a lot of great players. They only had one player selected to the Pro Bowl. One. Laramie Tunsil. No players on offense other than their left tackle. No running backs, no quarterbacks, no wide receivers. Nobody from defense. The front seven has been playing well as of late, but nobody other than Laramie Tunsil. And there were only 2 teams that had nobody selected from the Pro Bowl, and then you have the Houston Texans that only had 1 player selected. That's not a Lovie Smith problem. All I'll say is this: however they finish up the year, Lovie should be back, Pep should be back. Coming with them should be a brand new quarterback out of the draft or a legit free agent quarterback. And I'm not talking about, some journeyman. Don't bring in Baker Mayfield. Don't bring in Matt Ryan. Heck, don't even bring in Tom Brady. Get a legit franchise quarterback. His name is not Davis Mills. This is where the attention should be. It shouldn't be on Lovie. should be on Pep. It should be on Nick Caserio. Do your job. Get this team some franchise players. Rick Smith did that. Rick Smith brought in legit franchise Pro Bowl players. And the locals didn't like that. Oh, he doesn't draft well after the third round. Well, doggone it, he brought in a J.J. Watt. He brought in a DeAndre Hopkins. He brought in an Arian Foster. He brought in a whole lot of players that this team. He brought in Deshaun Watson. Nick Caserio, you on the clock. All right, y'all, let me go. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There's nothing you can do about it, except meet me here tomorrow for Freestyle Friday. It'll be my last show for, of course, before Christmas, and then we'll be back next week with some good stuff. So, as always, y'all, love you much, and we will talk to you then. Here's Sybil Wilkes to take us home.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Thursday, December 22nd, 2022. Number 1, a powerful winter storm is on the move across the country, threatening holiday travel on the roads and in the skies. Just days before Christmas, tens of millions of Americans are currently under winter weather warnings. Heavy snows and dangerous winds have moved from the Pacific Northwest to the Great Plains. The days before Christmas, Thursday and Friday, are normal heavy travel days. Several airlines and airports are offering passengers the opportunity to change travel plans without the levy of change fees. Number 2. A new Ipsos poll reveals startling differences about Christmas among Americans of various religions, backgrounds, and political party affiliations. 87% of respondents say that waiting until at least after Thanksgiving is the most appropriate time to start playing Christmas music in public. This proportion is consistent across subgroups, where a majority says that waiting until at least after Thanksgiving is appropriate. I'm in the minority, I guess. Number 3. A nonpartisan audit released Wednesday called on Wisconsin Democratic Governor Tony Evers to be more transparent about how he distributes billions of dollars in federal COVID-19 relief funds. The Legislative Audit Bureau said that Evers' Department of Administration did not provide information it claimed the government based his decisions on when handing out some $3.7 billion in pandemic aid over the past 2 years. Republican lawmakers have criticized the governor's spending choices and tried to give themselves control of the money. Number 4. Jackson State University held its 2022 undergraduate and graduate ceremony December 9th with guest speaker Roland Martin. Among the 500 graduates, one in particular took a well-deserved stroll. Ira Vaughn, a 54-year-old return student, graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Professional Interdisciplinary Studies after 31 years since he last enrolled at the historically black college and university. Way to go. Number 5, despite an influx of COVID-19 relief money, school districts across the country have struggled to staff up to address students' mental health needs that have only grown since the pandemic hit. Among 18 of the country's largest school districts, 12 started this school year with fewer counselors or psychologists than they had in the fall of 2019. That according to an analysis by Chalkbeat. As a result, many school mental health professionals have caseloads that have far exceeded recommended limits. According to experts and advocates, and students must wait for urgently needed help. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. That was said by Buddha. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central for check-in and check-up for your health in partnership with our friends at the American Heart Association with Dr. Yvonne Commodore Mensa and the man with the biggest heart and heartiest laugh, Damon Williams, as we discuss a new year with a focus on heart health, especially looking at that blood pressure. Whew. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SybilWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.